Two mates, one obsession, cars. We're here to talk, drive, and occasionally bin it in the name of automotive passion. From dream garages to the latest car news, this is the Ditch Finders podcast. Right, we've got audio, we've got video. Tell you what we haven't got.
An agenda.
Usually, we, a day or two before, pick a few topics we want to talk about, or there's been some news, and we discuss. And we create a dream car garage, and we create a scenario. We've got nothing this time.
We're testing.
Completely winging it.
Yeah.
But we have got more to talk about than usual because we have used our cars together this time.
Yeah.
Which makes a change.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to get some more rich, natural conversation rather than being like, this happened in the news, this happened in the news, Dream Car Garage.
We did become news reporters on car news.
Yeah.
A bit, which is good because we needed content and it's good practice. And it was informative.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we've actually used our cars.
Yes.
2 days ago.
Yeah, it still feels pretty raw, doesn't it?
It does. And we haven't spoke about it at all.
No.
We went separate ways to get back.
You went M6 toll.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying for it.
I needed to just get back. And we haven't spoke about it since. We've been so busy. We had Mother's Day yesterday. What a trip.
Yeah.
Do you know what is funny? You were on time.
That's the revelation.
And it was at 5:25.
Yeah.
On a Saturday morning.
I don't know how you got me out of bed.
The only time I've ever seen you at 5:25 in the morning is when we're still coming back after a night out.
Accurate law. Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen you at that time in the morning.
It is.
So I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was very, very impressed. But if anything's going to get you out of bed, it's a little car trick.
Exactly.
So to give a bit of context, myself, yourself, and a few others got up super early in the morning and we drove to North Wales.
Yeah.
Found some nice roads, went for breakfast, and drove back, in a nutshell. So got up, left about 5:20 in the morning, and got back at about 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. We had dry weather, a bit of sunshine at times. And one thing I do want to discuss is something that we set out to achieve with doing the podcast. And actually, it was something that we wanted to address in some of our hopeful early videos that we wanted to do with this. And that is, can you still, or can you at all, enjoy driving in the UK? I want to ask that question. And I want you to answer it because we haven't discussed it. We've done our first we did over 300 miles.
Yeah. Was it 300?
Just over.
Wow.
We did over 300 miles and we did a good test as to whether you can enjoy driving in the UK. And I want to know your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I think the simple answer is yes. But it doesn't come without its issues.
No.
First of all, getting there. Quite boring. We made the most of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly in the UK, you've got to, if you're on a nice driving road, then you've got to go somewhere that's a bit more scenic. Generally involves hills.
We are in the worst location possible.
Yeah.
We're in the Midlands. There's very little in the way of driving roads, and there's a hell of a lot of traffic. And more motorways because they just crisscross into the middle of the UK, and it doesn't create a fantastic environment to drive in. And we haven't got the most scenic areas. We've got some lovely areas in the Midlands, mainly farmland, and it's some of the areas are really pretty and it's lovely, especially if you go down South Warwickshire. And slightly further north. There's some lovely parts of the Midlands, but nothing that's fantastic for driving.
No,
there's the odd half a mile stretch of road that because it's your local fun little road, but there's not much more than that. So, like you say, you've got to go 2-3 hours in any given direction before you start getting something that's either more scenic, slightly twistier. Please continue.
Yeah. And I think Snowdonia is one of our favourites anyway, certainly within that 3-hour range.
It's the closest to get some nice roads.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they are bloody nice roads.
There's some lovely roads.
If you go to the right ones, some of the A roads are good, but I think it's actually the slightly less popular B roads that maybe aren't the best tarmac, but they really provide the route,
especially if you can catch it where it's not busy.
Yeah,
and you can exploit the full width of the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because they're not massive roads anyway, are they?
Yeah, no. And I think, don't get me wrong, we were stuck behind cars quite often, and when there's a pack of 6 cars, there's a lot of everyone individually overtaking this car to meet up with the pack and trying to organise all that. It was a bit annoying at times, but I mean, you're on a public road. What do you expect?
Yeah, you can't get too mad about that, can you?
No. And I think we proved, we don't really have much evidence of our trip, but I think internally we proved that you can have a good time on cars on public roads in the UK.
I have such mixed feelings. I came away with like an emotional roller coaster of a trip, because as much as we were able to go and do the trip, and I loved it, and we went for breakfast, and it's nice to get out with the guys, go for a quick spin, and that part of it, and if you were to actually summarise the total number of driving minutes of fun roads, 45 minutes of actual driving properly, enjoying it at a push.
At pace, yeah.
There's a few things we did that didn't help us. We went on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And early in the morning was fine because we left so early and it was great. We got there and we went for breakfast and it was fantastic in Betsacoid. Alpine Cafe, fantastic place for breakfast. It was really good. So that was great. We got out up and early. But then on the way back, the traffic was horrendous.
It was bad.
Through all the way from, even before Welshpool, like almost from Barla. And we went down and across to Welshpool, across to Shrewsbury, and that was it. We were done for.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all.
And then the pack just gets constantly split up, and you can, because we want to be safe and overtake where possible and not do any risk or put anybody else in danger or ourselves, you then end up sitting behind people. What gets frustrating then is this standard of driving. The average standard of driving in the UK is poor.
Yeah.
Extremely poor.
Yeah.
So that becomes frustrating. Then just the sheer number of cars on the road is nuts. Add to that roadworks everywhere.
Yeah.
Traffic lights everywhere. Like temporary traffic lights for roadworks everywhere. Then the condition of the roads.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be potholes, cracks, just parts of the road missing. It's so frustrating. When you take into account how much we pay to use the UK roads, my car's £705 a year to tax. It's not anything crazy. It's a 2006 Cayman.
Yeah.
£705 a year to tax. Take into account the insurance you have to pay, the fuel. The fuel cost me £100 for that day.
Yeah, it's about 70 for me.
£100 of fuel, because the fuel prices are crazy. We've got so much tax on them. So for the 1 or 2 days that I'll use my car this month properly, call it £60 on tax. If I use it that day only, £100 for fuel. If you really want to take in tyres and other things, using the toll twice to actually get there and back without being stuck in traffic, it costs you £200 to go and do a morning of driving, and you get stuck in traffic. Nobody can really drive properly.
Yeah.
When you're on the motorway, they're in the complete wrong lane or doing something extremely dangerous. And on A and B roads, they're either not doing the speed limit, not indicating, and just generally pretty dangerous. And just standard of driving is just pretty poor. It then becomes a very expensive thing to get annoyed at. So there's parts of it where I was enjoying myself immensely, and I was so happy, and I was almost, out loud saying how much I love the car and how much these are my favourite things to do, favourite mornings out. And on the other hand, I'm getting stuck in traffic and I'm getting frustrated with so many things that I think are quite specific to the UK. I think we need to now do a test. We need to go to Europe.
Yeah.
Go across Europe, and I don't think they'll have half the frustrations.
No.
Or the cost.
Yeah, and these are the issues I caveated at the start. It's expensive. It's long-winded at times. And like you say, the quality of driving and the amount of cars in certain places. I was actually surprised at how few cars there were on certain parts of Wales. But then other parts where you might not expect it, you're stuck behind a lorry for an hour.
Or to the point where you don't even bother overtaking because you can see there's another 12 cars. So
what's the point?
What's the point of putting everybody at risk just to sit behind other people? If it's one or two cars you can get past and enjoy the road, then great.
But to flip the coin, in those, like you say, 45 minutes, an hour's worth of that good pace driving where all 6 cars are in a nice convoy, it is kind of worth it.
It makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Completely.
It's funny, isn't it? So, like, rewarding, isn't it?
The road from Festiniog to Bala, the one after the Discovery pulled over, well, he was in the middle of a road, stopped initially. That road there, what a fantastic road that is.
So good.
You can see, and it is just twisty, and it's generally pretty quiet. That's an amazing road. And we hit it at probably a good time, and we were just able to cruise behind each other and just flow. And seeing, whether it be in front of you or behind you, the snake of cars, that's one of the most satisfying things.
It's almost best to be at the front or the back, isn't it?
Yes.
You get to watch everyone in your rearview mirror or in front of you. Shall we go over what cars were there?
Let's do it, because there was some really lovely stuff. And a few things that surprised me as well.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a Porsche club meet.
Yeah.
Most of us, was there 4?
4
total? And then there was yourself in your Z4, which actually stood out and looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at how aggressive it looks when it is behind you. I don't know whether it's those, do they call them halo lights? The kind of round.
Yeah.
And then the bonnet and those kidney grills. It looks really aggressive. It looks fantastic in the rearview mirror.
Good.
So I've got to say, it was really nice to see it occur on the trip. And the other non-Porsche was the MX-5.
That was really cracking me up.
Everybody, especially Ben, does very, very well to keep up in the MX-5, but he has so much fun.
Yeah.
Even his passenger, his co-driver, was having the best time as well.
Yeah.
If you can get in an MX-5 and do a trip like that and not be happy and not smile most of the way, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
There has to be.
It just comes with the car, doesn't it? So I was impressed by how well he kept up as well.
It's brilliant. But it makes other people I've seen an MX-5 go around and keep up is funny, and it is brilliant, and that's why I love them so much.
Yeah, and they hold their own on the twisties because they're so light. And
absolutely,
not much to them. There's less. You're worrying less about the quality of the car because it's a bit less money,
and you can have a hoon.
Yeah. So yeah, it was me. Like you say, non-Porsches, me in the Z4, Ben in the MX-5, you in the Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a Boxster.
Yep, Joe in his Boxster.
Joe in his Boxster.
Lovely car.
He was a good old driver.
He could drive.
Yeah. And that sounded really good, actually.
Sounded really
good.
I think good. All he's had done, it's got the sports exhaust from Porsche, but then he's had the valves played with.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's the valves or the fuse or what. But it sounds great.
It sounds louder than OEM.
It's really, really nice.
So that was nice, really nice. It had lobster wheels, didn't it?
Yes. So a 987 Boxster and then my 987 Cayman S. It was quite nice to see them both. And at times I was jealous that he would be able to put his roof down because we had some nice weather.
But he didn't.
He didn't, which we'll have him.
That's a sin.
It is.
And then there was Nick in his Carrera 4S.
996 Carrera 4S. That, I've seen it out before, but really surprised me. It looks fantastic. I think the 996 is only getting better and better looking. I think 5-6 years ago, they looked a bit fugly, but they're starting to come into their own.
I kept looking at it on the tour. It looked really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think it helps that it's got that kind of almost turbo style body kit on it with it being a C4S. But the sound of it,
I'm
almost certain it's stock.
Yeah, it was like that Porsche flat six tone you get, but with like that a rasp.
It had a throatiness.
Yeah,
sounded fantastic.
It sounded really good.
Really like the sound.
Yeah. I noticed on the tour about how it's got the full rear light bar.
Yeah.
It's weird how in the early 2000s they had that, and then it went away, and now it's on every car.
It's come back, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They were ahead of their time, I think, with that. Yeah. I think the 993 has it as well. So even
really?
In the 90s, the 993 has that bar all the way across.
Yeah.
Like it. It's really starting to come back in, isn't it? It's kind of that.
That's the in thing these days, isn't it?
Massive. With the 992.
They're doing it on the front now, like the VWs.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
But the 992 generation have the full light bar, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah. So that was a funny observation.
It did look good.
So that definitely held its own. And then the the highlight of the trip, which I was really trying to play down when I was there,
which we didn't expect.
No, that was the fun of it. Everyone turning up, you didn't know what they were turning up in.
Yeah,
it was a 911 ST.
Just as you do,
with 300 miles on the clock.
100 by the end of the trip. You might have 300 miles, but 100 miles on the clock.
So that was still in braking period, and I was
running it in.
I was wondering at the start. I thought, he's quite tame, and he's probably just easing it in. I didn't realise it was still in the braking period.
It was just
so that was pretty chaotic.
What a lovely spec as well. White wheels, PTS green.
PTS.
Don't know the exact green it was, but it looked fantastic. Spec,
Comfy,
lovely. Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
And then a tan leather interior. Just it is the holy grail of the driver's car, isn't it?
There were quite a few moments where I was either in front and just looking in my rearview mirror rather than the road ahead, or behind and hearing him just do the little blip down shifts. I was just like,
what a car. I had to do my best to not fangirl.
Exactly.
I almost had to not be around it and the driver, because I would have lost my cool.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
I had to keep my distance. I'd never met this guy before, and I was just when we pulled over towards the end, I was like, is it on its own? Is it right here? I just wanted to go and hug it or something.
Yeah. Really hope that we get to see that again.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, I'm still going to try and play it somewhat cool. Yeah, so all in all, I think it was really, really good to get out and use the cars and do a nice little trip to Wales. It'd be interesting to see how it compares overall if we were to go up to maybe the Yorkshire Dales, maybe even Scotland. I'm not going to do that in a morning trip, and then certainly get across to Europe.
Yeah.
But my frustrations have got me thinking.
Okay.
And partly because of the cars that were there, and I think what we said about the MX-5 proves that you don't need to be in a 911 ST to have a fun morning and enjoy yourself. You really don't. And if anything, probably going to have more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice in a way. It's really nice. So that got me thinking. Because we're both somewhat window shopping, car shopping.
Yeah.
I was that frustrated because the last 3 hours of the journey, we were just stuck in traffic. And it was horrendous. And motorways were closed. And there was roadworks just everywhere. And the amount of traffic and horrendous driving was too much. So I got back almost a little disheartened by the trip. Almost a little bit. Yeah, I would. I felt, because I get frustrated in traffic.
Yeah.
And just the sheer amount of it. Luckily, I was able to come away from it, and didn't help that I was needing to rush back, but come away for it a day later, go, actually, what an amazing time. I love the trip. And actually, I fell in love with my car again. Not that I fell out of love with it, but I was just thinking, what a great little car. I still think it looks great. It went so well. It didn't skip a beat.
It always goes well, whatever we do with it. That engine is
and I don't
super reliable.
I don't give it an easy time either.
No.
It works hard. It does work really, really hard.
How did it feel in the corners then?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Albeit I need some rear tyres. It felt amazing. Those PS4S's on the front.
Yeah, front end.
Are phenomenal. Yeah. It's got really, really good turn in. What would be nice is it's got a slight shudder over a certain miles an hour.
Okay. That you can't disclaim.
when I used it on track, anything over 90
Okay.
is a really bad
Yeah, that's
vibration.
not fun.
I don't know whether it's alignment or maybe wheel balancing, but it's not bad because I never experienced it on the road. So that needs to get looked at. And then I want to put some PS4Ss on the rear.
Yes, that will make such a difference.
Yes, it really will.
It's not that it doesn't break traction, but even just the handling of it.
It's more the balance in the corner because it will, if you put the weight on it, because the tyres are so hard because they're quite old, you get movement.
Yeah.
And when you want to square out of the corner, it just it can't put the power down because the tyres have just gone so hard. It's not fantastic. So that will really help. But it didn't stop me from having an amazing time.
Good.
There's a few upgrades I want to do.
Okay.
Because I've been toying with the idea of selling it, because I didn't want it to stop me getting into other cars. And I've already sold it once and bought it back. Because there's a bit of a history with this car, isn't there, with me?
Yeah.
It means a lot. It's a fantastic car. I need to keep it, and I want to keep it. And actually, I took it to my parents yesterday for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And we spoke on the very first episode about a mum wanting to buy a sports car.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we? And so she decided yesterday, being Mother's Day, she wanted to drive my car.
Okay.
So she went, come on then, I'm going to drive your car, you're going to take me out on it. And she absolutely loved it.
Really?
She hasn't driven a manual or anything sporty for several years. And when we were discussing her looking at getting a sports car, manual was completely off the cards.
Okay.
We got 200 yards up the road, and she went, I get it. I get the manual. Straight away. She went, I get why you want a manual in a sports car. She noticed how good it sounded, how fun it was in the corners. I was quite surprised at the feedback from her driving, and I was very impressed by the driving. And I came to the conclusion that she can use it whenever she wants, and that's enough.
Really?
Yeah. So now and again, I'm going to try and leave it at my parents for mum to use. And she's very, very happy with it.
Wow. There you go.
So it turns out, because I said, what you need is a little Cayman. Even if it was a slightly newer one with a PDK, to get over the manual thing. But then when she used it, she was like, no, it needs to be manual.
Yeah. She's a driver.
I was very impressed.
That's wicked.
It was really, really cool. However, you don't need any more power for the road with these road trips that we're doing. You really don't. The MX-5 proved that.
Yeah.
However, for feeling, there's a few things now, because I've done, let me think about this, pushing 25,000 miles on that car now. So I know it fairly well.
Done a third of its miles. Over a third.
Yeah, I got it at 40,000 miles. Yeah. So I know the car fairly well. I'm pretty confident in being able to say that. It's on original suspension. It's 19 years old this year. So I'd like to put some suspension on there. Nothing too low or too harsh, but just upgrade the suspension. Put some modern suspension. In the same way that putting modern tyres on there has such a massive impact.
Yeah.
But I'd like to reduce it by 10, 15 mil. A bit like the Cayman R.
Just springs or...
No, I'll do coilovers. Because if I just do lowering springs, you've still got the original shocks.
Yeah.
So, and the cost of putting OEM on there, I might as well get some coilovers, modern. Don't have to have it sit too low. But it could come down 10, 15 mil. So that's one thing I want to do. The brakes aren't fantastic. So I didn't want to spend all this money upgrading it if I wasn't going to keep the car. But since Mum loves the car and she wants to use it as well, and I do love the car and would regret selling it again, we need to improve the brakes. I want to do some decent pads. I want to get some padded pads, because I know they're very, very good, and put some braided hose lines on there. And if that doesn't do the trick, change the master cylinder. But I have a feeling that should be enough.
Okay.
Then there's the matter of driving position. I'm not a fan of those seats. They're not the sport seats or anything, just the original extended leather, electrically adjusted seats. I'd like to put in a sportier, more bucket type seat for support and for positioning, so I can get further back. I'm quite tall, and I'm fully extended at the back, but still hitting the engine behind.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, you do sit far back.
I do. And the steering wheel then doesn't come close enough, and the steering wheel's too big, so it hits my knees. So if I'm going to keep the car, I need to put a sportier seat that can sit lower and further back, but still can be, I still want it on rails and so it can come back and forth so anybody can drive it still. I don't want it to be something that's undrivable for people. And then I want to put something like an OMP steering wheel with a boss on there that's slightly extended So then I can have it closer and just have more control and feel.
Cool.
And a slightly smaller wheel so my knees aren't hitting it. My knees will come lower anyway with a sportier seat. So that's going to help. And if I can come back slightly more. It doesn't help that I'm a lanky bugger. So those things are going to really help. And then there's just tiny little things. I want to paint the hubs so they're just clean and nice again. Whilst I'm doing the brakes, I'll put some new discs on there. You might as well for the sake of 150, 200 quid.
Yeah.
And may look at getting the wheels refurbed again. Although I gave them really good clean today and they do look fantastic. Well, it's been 4 or 5 years. I was going to look at putting some like Cayman R wheels, but actually when I looked at the car today, I do actually love the wheels.
Cayman R wheels are nice.
Cayman R wheels are really nice, but then we're really extending the budget.
That's a lot of money.
So I need to add it up. We'll do that in an episode next. But all these things, I've found most of the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that would make it a bloody good little driver's car.
Mate, it'll make it your own is the most important thing, and it'll make it work for you and your lanky legs.
Yeah. But then going and doing little Wales trips when you've got better brakes, tyres are just something you've got to do anyway, but you'll get a fantastic feel off those.
Yeah.
Better suspension because it's you can tell it's old, worn suspension. It's done 64, pushing 65,000 miles, and it's 19 years old. It will feel so much better on suspension. There might be a couple of bushes that are going to be a bit worn as well that start to look at, because this is the point where it starts to cost money, isn't it?
Yeah.
19, 20 years old, 60,000 miles. If we don't keep on top of things now, things are either going to go catastrophically wrong or become very expensive. So I want to keep on top of it, spend a bit of money on it now that I know I'm going to keep it, and enjoy it. Then, from this trip, the next car I think I'll get will be left-hand drive.
What?
Because if you're going to go for something more power and newer, and you're going to want to do all these trips in it, there's no point in having something right-hand drive and doing it in the UK. I've established that. I'm going to have a sporty little car that does what I need in the UK and be able to have a sports car for the summer and enjoy it.
Is that your Porsche?
That's the Porsche.
Right.
Maybe even do a track day or two.
Yeah.
And enjoy it for what it is, and it'd just be a perfect little sports car. Then what would be the upgraded car, I might as well get in left-hand drive and just go and enjoy it in Europe, because there's no point. I've established that I don't need any more power in the UK. You can't use it.
Yeah.
So why buy something that you then can't really properly use
How
in the UK?
often are you going to be in Europe?
Well, as much as I possibly can, because I'll have a car to go across to Europe in.
Yeah.
And if you're going to buy a car just to do that, what's the point in having it right-hand drive? Makes far more sense to have a left-hand drive car.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
Okay. What were you thinking?
GT4.
GT4?
Yeah.
The left-hand drive GT4?
Left-hand drive GT4.
Sourced from Europe?
Yeah. Germany.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out the logistics of how you keep it in the UK and if you have to register in the UK and all that sort of stuff. I've worked that out. That's least of my problems. I could keep it in Spain. Whatever.
Yeah.
I could keep it in Spain. So I want to do that. That's going to be my plan. So the car probably spend the money.
Quite an aggressive plan.
I'll do some man maths. I'll make it work.
You need to build this podcast up.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, please.
Fun Tom's GT4.
Oh, that's my plan. So I'm going to keep it.
Cool.
I'm going to enjoy it. And it's going to be my forever little sports car.
You're going to keep the Cayman?
Yeah. To the point where my kids will go, what's that piece of crap doing in the garage? And then when they're old enough to experience it, I go, yeah, it's actually really cool.
And then another 50 years, it'll be a barn find. Yeah. Mate, I like it. I've a lot of... I enjoy seeing people keep cars for a long time.
I actually think as well, if you, rather than just going for a new car, an old car that just looks so well looked after is often more impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like you say, it's for the UK, it's more than enough.
More than enough. In fact, it's actually probably perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. I can't say I'd say the same for myself, although on that trip, it was the first time I'd really, it's embarrassing to say, in 2 years of owning that car, that I'd really done a proper trip in it, purely for the sake of driving. And I really connected with it from a handling point of view.
Do you think if you'd done this sooner, you would have formed a better bond with the car than you had up until this point?
Yes. And I probably would have done a few bits by now. But here we are.
Because I guess you struggle to justify the cost of upgrades if you haven't formed that connection bond with the car and want to do things with the car.
There's not much passion behind.
You just see it as an expense.
Yeah, literally. It's not to say that I'm going to keep it for a long time, because I probably will chop it this year.
Yeah,
but it was just interesting to actually have that experience with it, and even just like when you feel in the back end just nudge you and say, yeah, I'm coming to the limit here a bit. I've never pushed it to that point, and so it was nice to connect with it, and I realised how it's not dialed in by today's standards, but how good of a car it is and would have been, in the early 2010s.
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
There was points, and there was Abby in the passenger seat, and she was like hit quick.
Yeah.
And I said as well, yeah, the car feels really quick. Imagine what that would have felt like 19 years ago.
Yeah.
It would have felt absolutely rapid.
Really would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the beauty of them, isn't it? They're that, the way things have moved on, then no.
But in some ways, you don't get the same feedback and feel that character from newer cars.
Probably is a car, yeah.
So there are advantages for going for older cars, and they've got character, they've got quirks. It's not to say that they're actually a better car if you do it on paper, what it's capable of doing, and how reliable it is, and all those other things. But that's not what makes a car special, is it?
No.
And that's well documented. Everybody knows that.
No, that's interesting. I think we both enjoyed our cars on that trip. All the cars got to the end.
They did.
I think we all had a good time. And I look forward to doing it again.
I do too. We'll have to plan the next one and try and get some video. I thought after the fact that I had a co-driver and Abby could have been filming and getting some cool content. She got some cool shots and videos, and I think she was enjoying doing it. So hopefully we'll set her up and we'll get some GoPros attached to cars, and we'll try and make a little...
It's that balancing act, isn't it? Especially when you're with people that you don't really know. You don't want to just be like, guys, can we stop 5 minutes while starting?
Yeah, do some flybys, stop here. You don't, because it kind of takes away from the magic of the trip. If you can kind of do it as rolling.
You wouldn't do it on that type of trip. If it's just us two and co-drivers, then we could do that.
But we could still get some cool content.
Yeah.
Get some cool
footage. It's definitely inbound, that kind of stuff.
For sure.
But yeah, still want a new car this year.
You've been looking at some other stuff. It kind of changes weekly.
So
it's well established that the leading contender for your replacement car is a BMW M2.
Yeah.
It seems to make a lot of sense. You thought about the Cayman, but you don't seem to be able to get the same level of Cayman for the money as an M2.
No, I think I'd want a Cayman S in manual, and there's just not that many about.
No.
And 30 plus.
Especially for one with lower miles, one's been looked after, serviced, etc.
But one car, and it's because I've got over this 6-cylinder thing. I always said, I want at least 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
I've got over it a bit, and I've been reviewing A110s, and I've just realised how good of a car. I haven't driven one, but I've realised it's just unanimous people's opinion on that car.
A110 seems to have a bad word to say about it. And if you think about what we've discussed about the perfect or ideal little sports car for the UK, from a power size point of view, I think it was
suspension. It's quite soft.
Yeah,
it's literally because it ticks off a lot of. I want something that's really good on a B road. I want something that's light. It's 1.1 ton.
Nothing.
It's just like
it's MX-5 weight.
It's like my car's like having 2 or 3 passengers compared to that car.
What's your car? 1,400 plus?
1,450, I think. Yeah.
300 kilos.
Yeah, over 300 kilos heavier.
And it's got more power.
Yeah. It's only got a 1.8 turbo, but it does actually have a bit of character to it. I think that's the only thing people have said. Some people don't quite gel with it. Some people do, but I think the gearbox is good. It does have a good rasp to it and has some nice burbles.
On track, when I've done MX-5 track days in the past, and there's been the odd Alpine, they're so quick. Really quick.
Yeah. This is so light. I think, it's not far off a Lotus, really, in terms of weight.
Not at all.
It's the same weight as the V6 Exige, I think.
Really?
We're talking about Lotus there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm considering those. See what the pricing does for those, and see what comes available.
We've discussed as well. They seem to hold their value really, really well.
Really do.
But I think in part there aren't a huge amount of them.
No.
If you compare to Cayman, Boxsters, TTS, TTRSs, you know, your option of sports cars, they're probably far fewer numbers, which is going to help the value of them. And by the sounds of things, they're a brilliant little car. So I think it'll suit UK roads. And we've both got a massive hankering for something more focused.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to try and adjust those things on the Porsche to satisfy, and to satisfy budget.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really good little choice. It's got character. I think it's nice to be in something a little bit off the wall as well.
Yeah, a bit different.
It's not a mainstream choice, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I think as much as I like an M2, it's a very obvious choice, and a lot of people have them, and that's absolutely fine. But
doesn't mean it's a bad car or that you wouldn't enjoy it. Exactly.
I want something that feels a bit more unique and something I can connect with a bit better, because I've never really had that car that I've fully gelled with. I love my Mini John Cooper Works and whatever, but that was just it was a bit of an MX-5, it's just a hoon. It just sounded ridiculous.
Yes.
And you just have a laugh every time you drive it. But was I that connected with it? Not sure. Probably not.
We need to go and test drive one.
Yes, definitely.
Let's try and make that happen. Could be an expensive weekend for you.
Yeah, maybe not just yet. Get some funds together first.
Nice.
Yeah. Smart. We'll see. But I was just thinking when I was on that trip that as much as I was enjoying the Z4, something like an A110 would have been a level up.
It would have been.
Yeah.
I was actually very happy in my car. I just felt like a few tweaks, I would have just felt, hunkered down in a bit more feedback and fear, have a bit more confidence in the brakes. And that'll do me. I'll be happy with that.
I didn't really see you much, I feel like, on the trip. I was either one end and you the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't really behind you at all.
There was one nice stretch where you were leading.
Oh, yeah.
That was good fun.
On,
that was
on
really
the down
nice
bit
stretch.
to Betsy Code, yeah. So yeah, just want to dial in a new car, get those trips going more often.
What I'd like to do is actually film what I want to do with the Porsche. Use that as content because of what we want to do. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know how we've been back on the BMW train? For a while, we were a bit disheartened by what they were doing. And then the M3 Touring came out. We're like, okay, we're back on track. And I started to like some of the G series cars, whereas before wasn't interested in whatsoever. Still like the later F series, M4s and M3s and all that sort of stuff. And then I saw a new BMW iX2.
iX2.
It is the most hideous, horrendous looking BMW.
Is it like the Sportback X1? Is that what it is?
Let me try to find a photo.
Electric.
Hold the line caller. Right.
I think I saw a list on Auto Trader and it was one of the slowest selling cars of March 2020.
Look at the rear end on this. You're going to have to overlay it.
Oh,
it's not good, is it? There's nothing nice about that. It's all wrong. Look at your face. Stop. But do you know what I dislike the most? I don't know why, whether it be electric or the latest generation of all manufacturers, they've completely lost their brand identity. I don't know what going electric or going down this new generation of cars means that you have to completely step away from your entire brand identity. The only one that isn't is Porsche.
Even the Macans.
Even the new Macans sketch it.
Noddy, yeah.
You could take the badge off any new BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Hyundai, Kia, Skoda, Volkswagen, all these new fandangled cars that are coming out, whether it be electric or not, take the badge off all of them, you wouldn't know what it is, and you would think that BMW is a Skoda, and you'd think that Mercedes is a Volkswagen.
I think you would have an idea, but it would be way less clear than the same test 15 years ago.
You go from, even before, but from 2000 to 2015, and you took the badges off all cars and you say, what's that?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're going to get that right. The ratio of that going wrong from 2020 to 2025. Different game entirely.
Yeah. I don't think it helps with this SUV hype. There's so many the same shape SUV, and they're almost, especially these Chinese OEMs, they're basically just copying like Range Rover, just copying their design. And so all these mid-size SUVs just mushed together and look the same.
They really do, because everybody wants they think everybody wants the same thing, so they just all make the same thing.
It's a bit cringe, isn't it?
It's not good. But if you look now, do you know how there's the photo of like a Brazilian beach or Miami in like the 90s or 80s, and it's all, most people are slim and look nice, and no one's on their phones, and it's actually quite a nice photo, and there's no litter everywhere. And then you get a photo in 2020 and everyone's fat on their phones eating McDonald's, and there's litter everywhere. If you were to take a photo in the 90s and early thousands of just a street or a road of cars, I think, and then you take one now, it just looks ugly now, doesn't it? All cars, like the difference in style, design language, and brand identity is so much stronger.
Yeah.
Back
then,
in thousands, even in the 80s.
It's not to say there weren't some ugly 90s
not.
cars, but
Absolutely not.
You are right. They were more independent from a brand point of view, weren't they? But that's the problem, they're all trying to rebrand, new logos, and then that follows onto the car, and there's like, I think a lot of it's in like the headlight design.
But everything now just looks genderless.
Yeah.
And
it's quite relevant.
You're right. And maybe that's what they're going for.
Moving on.
But it's depressing.
It is. That, and like I say, this SUV obsession. It's just every new car is a boring SUV. I just don't. I get it. People want them, but as an enthusiast, just like, great, another SUV.
Yeah.
They look shit.
But when it's the only thing that sells, or in numbers, I get it, because it does make sense.
Yeah.
I want people to love the Golf again.
Yeah.
Because most people can do what they need to do in that. We need more Golf.
But even like the new M2, it's just so much less pretty than the old M2. Yeah, and even compared to the 240i, which I think I've grown on to that a bit. I went to BMW recently with my brother for him to look at a car.
Yeah.
Even the 240i has some curves to it. The M2 is just so square.
It is.
It almost looks like blown up, like it's been bit by a bug or something.
Yeah, but even if we come away from the SUV thing and you look at the A3, the 1 Series, the A-Class, take the badges off, especially the A-Class and the BMW.
The 1 Series is so far away from the old 1 Series.
The old one, how many times did we discuss wanting an M135i, M140i, especially the pre-2015, because they did a bit of a facelift in 2015, didn't they?
Yeah, and again, that facelift has grown on me.
Yes, and by today's standards, it's a far better looking car. It's got angles, it's got shape, it's got design. You very much know it's a BMW. Now, the new one, it's just so bulbous and round.
Shape.
And
the silhouette of it is so different.
The other thing, I might have mentioned this before, I can't remember if we did it on a test episode. Hyundai, why the hell are they putting indicators at the bottom of the bumper? It's lethal. Especially if you're higher up in a van, like I often am driving on a day-to-day basis. All the new Hyundais. So, have you seen the new Santa Fe? It's just a box.
You'll have to show me.
It's just a box. This is the new Hyundai Santa Fe, right?
Oh, I know what you're about.
A box.
It's a bit long as well. It's the flattest rear on a car, I think.
It's horrendous. Right, and do you think, you've got the lights there. You think, it'd make sense for the indicators to be there, wouldn't it? No, the indicators are down there at the bottom of the bumper.
And so if you're right behind it in traffic, you wouldn't be able to sit
just
in a van.
Generally speaking, because it's not where your eye line is. It's not where you're looking.
No.
So you can often...
You think they're not even indicating.
They're braking, and they just slam the brakes on. And you're like, why the hell? And they might have actually been indicating.
Yeah.
But you can't see it.
No.
Really, because it's just not where you've been trained to look for indication on all other cars. Quite frustrating, and just ugly.
It actually gets more dangerous. So.
It really does. But yeah, it's not, like you say, look at the flat it just stopped. It's like they ran out of budget and went, right,
Yeah.
we can't design any more of it. Just
shop it.
Yep.
Yeah, that worked.
Not good, is it?
Or someone's just reversed the clay model into a into a wall.
That's all right. Yeah, not fantastic. So yeah.
What do you think about these new tariffs then for the US? 25%. Don't get political. Do you think it's going to cause European brands to manufacture in the US?
Yes. I mean, am I right in thinking the biggest car factory in Mexico is a Volkswagen factory? I believe it is. And I think that will move UK. I think as Porsche have already said they're going to, not UK, sorry, US. Porsche are going to manufacture it in the US. I think it will cause
I think it's also a Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's worked for what he wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And I wish our government were doing things for our country in the same capacity.
But do you think it's all of that, or is it, subliminally, is it like Elon Musk trying to fight with the Chinese and holding Trump's hand and being like, make them pay to come in the country, and then Tesla does a better job in the US? Is that a far reach? I don't know.
I think the way that the Chinese are pumping out cars into the market is dangerous. And I think Europe is struggling massively. European manufacturers are struggling because of the way that the Chinese can just pump out cheap cars. And the vast majority of people that are buying cars, especially from a company point of view, price is king. And so for those that want to go buy a car and spend the money on a car and spec a car, they've got the money to do so. And that the numbers of those are far few than the people that are just needing a car to get from A to B and need it to be as low cost as possible.
Yeah.
EVs do work for a lot of people. We've said this before. There is certainly a place in the market for them.
Yep.
So with them being able to do so in such a cheap place in the market, you're already making it difficult for the European manufacturers to manufacture a car at a price point, make money on it, and make a car that actually people want. So manufacturing in Europe is more expensive than China, so you can't compete. So you're just allowing the Chinese market so you're making it more and more difficult for the manufacturers in Europe to make something that people actually want, and then you allow China to come in and undercut. So you double whammy, losing sales there.
Yeah.
We need to do something to protect Europe and UK manufacturing.
Yeah.
So I wish that we had what Trump and Musk and others are doing in the US to bring manufacturing and keep manufacturing in the country. I think it's fantastic.
As a principle, you can see why they do it.
Well, it's a shame to see brands that we love and have grown up with and that are very close to our hearts, like Porsche and Volkswagen and BMW and Mercedes and all these things. That is our car market struggling.
Yeah, and even closer to home, JLR.
JLR massively.
Jaguar maybe shot themselves in the foot. We'll see how that pans out. But
yeah, but if you look at the number of UK manufacturers now, so yeah, I think I would like to see a similar sort of more aggressive, especially against the Chinese market.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even actually mind it against Tesla for the same reason. Look at how many Teslas are on the road in the UK.
Yeah,
because they made a car at a price point.
That's the other side of it, isn't it, with the US in terms of people imposing things on them instead. I don't know.
I do feel somewhat more of a sense of allegiance and protection against European brands, even though we're not part of the, most of our lives we've been part of the European Union.
Yeah.
So would suggest that we protect our neighbours as well as ourselves. So I think what he's doing is good. In short.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, similar sort of lines?
Yeah, I just kind of want to see how it plays out, but it's very it just feels very sudden, doesn't it? It's just like bam, 25%.
But I think it goes in line with scrapping net zero.
Yeah.
And the whole electric car mandate by 2030, 2035. Europe needs to do the same thing. Scrap that. Allow manufacturers to make cars that people actually want to buy.
Yeah.
and then make it more expensive for Chinese cars to be imported. Because as soon as you make them competitively priced with European cars, no one's going to buy the Chinese ones because they won't be manufactured to the same standards. And God knows what's going to be in them and how intrusive they're able to be.
Sure.
So soon it's only price. I think that's...
The dealership network of Chinese brands in the UK has just blown up in the last 6 months.
The amount of money they've thrown at it is insane. I'm seeing Hyundai dealerships and franchises and dealer networks get rid of Korean and European brands and take on Chinese brands because they're so cheap that they're selling. The number of cars that they're selling because of price point. As soon as you make those cars similar pricing to European cars, I think the sales will stop.
Yeah, it's a pretty turmoil time, really.
I think it's based on price alone. I don't think the product's anywhere near as good. I don't think it's a bad product.
No, technologically, they're very strong, and the EV tech is good, but in terms of design and pedigree and everything like that, obviously they're miles off.
They can't compete. They can't compete from a brand point of view. But what's not helping is because of the things that the European manufacturers are having to do, it's playing to China again.
Oh, it is, yeah.
You now can't distinguish between the Chinese brands because if I think the Europeans stay stronger to their brand heritage, that has value. As soon as you stray away from that, again, you're devaluing yourself against China, aren't you? Because they all look the same.
Yeah.
They're trying to do what China's doing, and actually, I think that's a negative thing.
Yeah.
I'm not an economist. I don't know the figures, so I could be completely wrong. I'm just a punter. But it's how I feel anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very, very strange time. Stuff to talk about, at least.
Very much so.
Good time to set up a podcast.
I know. Check us out. Time it, eh? Any other topics you thought of that you might want to talk about this week as we wing?
Not particularly. I just thought that US news seemed to blow up last week, didn't it? So I thought it'd be worth highlighting. Talked about our trip, new cars, project cars for you. We'll stop talking about my next car at some point. I feel like I keep bringing it up every episode, but
we need to go and do something.
Just a bit excited.
Yeah, we need to go drive some cars, I think.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're going to be able to actually determine what is the next car.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to put pedal to metal.
Are we really 53 minutes in already?
That has gone quick. I think.
Surely
I think we're about 35 minutes just talking about this Wales trip.
Are we actually?
That's what happens when you
That's a proper waffle. That's good going, isn't it? There were a few things I wanted to talk about. I can't remember because I didn't bother writing them down. I thought, we're going to wing it.
Agendaless.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I make any notes? I don't think I did. I was going to do a dream car garage.
Do one off the bat now.
Shall I make one up? We might have to clip.
Yeah.
And join back together. Shall I make one up real quick? Let me try and find something to fit. Actually, what I'll do a 2-car garage. We've only done single, but dream car garage should be a 2-car garage. Off the top of my head. Okay, since we went in it.
That was quick.
Since we've known each other, coming up on 10 years?
Yeah.
Jesus. We've always discussed dream car garages, and that's why it's a reoccurring segment on every episode. Because what we used to do is always give ourselves a price point or a situation that we may find ourselves in the future, and given those circumstances, what cars would you buy? And the kind of one that was always reoccurring was quite a realistic one. And it was when you got to a financial situation in which you were able to have your dream 2-car garage. And it was a realistic one. So you needed a daily driver, but still with being a petrol head in mind. And you wanted your weekend sports car. And, a realistic budget back then is, even 10 years ago, isn't possible nowadays. Cars are more expensive, inflation, all those other things. So I think, let's say you're working and you can put things on PCP and you can do all those things. You could have a value of two cars of 80k realistically. So let's say you've got, whether that's two, you can split it however you want.
Yep.
But whether that be you've bought one outright, you got one PCP, but a value of 80 grand.
The car's sale value.
Sale value.
Yeah.
2-car garage, dream car garage, a daily driver, and a sports car. You've got 80k. It's a lovely budget.
I know what my sports car is already. I don't think this is cheating, but it's the A110. And that is about, if we go for a nice one, that is 40 grand. So
you've split the budget halfway.
Yeah.
And then you've got 40 grand spent on a...
I know what you're going to do. You're going to spend 75 grand on your weekend car, and then you're going to buy a 5 grand hatchback. Yeah. Again, I'm having to react off the top of my head. I would say A110 because it's just so complete for the UK.
Yeah.
And then in terms of a daily, it'd still have to have some character and power. What could you get? 40 grand. 40 grand daily.
Get a lot for 40 grand.
You can. That's a nice budget. I'm always thinking like, I don't know why, I'm always thinking estate. Because a coupe or a hatchback doesn't really have the space. I don't want an SUV.
You could buy a nice RS6.
Yeah, you could get a second-hand RS6. Yeah, I was actually thinking Audi. Or even an RS4. I don't know. I'd probably say, I can't even say this. I'm probably going to say an RS6.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what year that would be for 40 grand. 16? 15?
Yeah. No, maybe even 2018.
Really?
Yeah. We could have a look. We could find out if you want.
An RS6 and an Alpine A110.
It's a great 2-car garage. That's a very good 2-car garage.
There you go. What would you do?
I was looking at them today. For my dad, actually.
Mm-hmm.
As a new daily driver. For 22 grand, you can buy a really nice, about 23,000 miles, 25,000 miles, a 2021 BMW 330e estate.
Mm-hmm.
What a car.
Yeah.
The 3 Series Tri, you just can't go wrong with a daily there. But they've got like 292 PS.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the electric plug-in hybrid version. So the cost of running is super low, and you can just daily that. And I think the average combined MPG is something like 180 miles per gallon because of the electric. It does about 35 miles on electric alone. So plug-in hybrid, super cheap to run. It's already done all of its depreciating.
Mm-hmm.
What a car for 22 grand.
Yeah.
So that leaves me with 58 grand to spend.
Yep.
On a sports car or a fun weekend car.
And caveat, you can't pick a GT4.
I do. I'll pick a GT4 every time.
Or a Porsche in general. You can't pick a Porsche.
Curveball.
Okay.
Alfa Romeo 4C.
A 4C.
Just one of the
just for
prettiest
the
little carbon tub.
Yeah.
I know it has its quirks, and I think it tracks quite badly because it's so light and all those other things. But that'd be a proper fun little sports car.
Yeah. That would be fun. But I think of all of these A110 reviews I've watched, everyone says it's what the 4C should have been.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they similar sort of power and weight?
I would say I think the Alpine is slightly heavier, slightly more powerful.
Okay.
So probably
there or thereabouts.
Power to weight is.
We'll have to have a look. We'll have to compare it because that'd be quite an interesting comparison.
Yeah. I don't think you'd have as, if you did this Wales trip in that 4C, you'd need a chiropractor by the end of it, I would have thought.
Maybe. I just love the look of them.
Yeah. Oh, they look mega.
And
they're just so Italian.
Because I always pick the same bloody thing.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's outside the box. What are they these days? Are they like 30, 40 grand?
They're mid-40s.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
They've helped. I don't know what they were new, but that's a lot of money for, personally. Again, they look great. I'm sure they're good fun. But not a lot of...
I want to throw a curveball out there. Something a bit different.
Yeah.
Because I could just go 3 Series Touring GT4 and just do what I do, which is probably what I'll end up with. There were a couple of other things. Or I could go for a slightly cheaper daily and get a Lotus Emira.
Oh, that's a shout.
Do like a Lotus Emira.
I really like an Emira. That's a good shout.
You could get an Emira for 60 grand, 65 grand,
Yeah.
a really nice one. And then let's say you're able to get one for, I'm trying to think here, 62 grand. Lovely. You got, no, other way around. Yes, you've got 18 grand to spend on a daily. You can get a 2016 Audi S4 Avant. That's a brilliant.
I like an S4.
Yeah. S4 Avant.
I like
and a Lotus Emira.
I like any A4, S4, RS4.
Yeah, it's just
I think it's a nice shape.
Nice
smaller
size.
than RS6.
Not too big.
Yeah.
Because the RS6 is big.
Yeah.
And quite heavy. It's just nice.
Yeah.
S4's a nice little car.
It's a good shout.
I tried to convince Amy to get on before the test Model Y. Didn't quite work out from a daily running cost point of view with the miles she does.
Probably get about 32 a gallon, does it?
Oh, no, we wouldn't even get that.
We're doing that.
I don't think so. Not the way she drives. Is that about to do us for this ramble?
I think so. I think that was a bit of a waffle.
We've done bloody well to fill an hour.
Yeah. But it's not hard for us, is it?
No, it went very
Especially not you.
No, that's true.
I think it's about 10 minutes of me talking there and 50 of you.
That's about the right ratio, isn't it? That's the standard ratio.
But I think in terms of a quick review of this whole project,
yeah,
I'm still very much enjoying it. I don't know about you.
Very much so.
Yeah. It's more the reels than this full episode, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of evenings to keep this thing moving. Actually, it's quite surprising.
It's a bit more work than I thought. I thought we had to just do this, whack it together, and shove it out. But I'm speaking on for both of us. I think I can. It's actually an enjoyable process getting it out there, and then when you see that grow 10 times in a week, go from 34, 35 subscribers to 367.
We're getting some views, getting some comments.
Well, there was
that chap on Spotify.
What a lovely
James.
What a lovely comment.
Yeah,
that was our first Spotify comment.
Is it?
Thank you, James, for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're listening. But we've had some really good engagement on some of the shorts as well. I think some of them are getting 14, 15 comments and beyond.
Yeah.
Everyone engaging. And thank you so much, everyone, if you are listening.
Pretty unanimously positive, isn't it? Yeah.
Amazingly positive.
We haven't been... If there are any sarky comments, it's always to you, by the way.
Yeah. I'm asking for it, though, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
But again, it's always in good spirits.
It's nothing crude. Yeah,
we do ask for it though. We have asked for it, so it's great. I actually couldn't imagine it going this well, this quickly.
No,
we're 5 episodes in.
I know,
and some of the reels are organically getting 12, 13,000 views, which is amazing, and we're getting really good feedback and engagement. And this is what we did it for.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Exactly.
It's so much fun.
So it's all just a passion project, isn't it? So
absolutely,
we'll keep going. We would welcome any feedback in terms of structures of these kind of episodes.
We've actually said that we want to do a bit of a Q&A. Now, for those that are listening, for the 7 people that might listen to this, great, please send some in. But we're going to ask some friends and family, aren't we? And try and switch up like today, we've done a bit of a switch up. We've done quite a structured first 5 episodes, gets us going, gets us started. We've done a full ramble on this episode, and maybe on the next we'll do a bit of a Q&A, ask them whether that's about ourselves, our opinions, or just maybe something that people want to know about the motor industry. I want to get you into MotoGP. It's again been a phenomenal 3rd race of the season, so I need to catch you up and do something on those lines. We've got Japan F1 coming up next weekend.
Can I just say, actually, was it last episode we did F1 predictions?
Yes.
And I said wooden spoon Liam Lawson. And he's already lost his Red Bull, so I think I've claimed that already. Bless him.
Yeah. It's not great, is it?
No. But yeah, there's lots to talk about in that motorsport world as well.
Absolutely.
Keep a track of,
Very much so.
So there.
That's
over an hour.
Thank you very much for all your feedback and engagement. Please keep it coming. It keeps us very much motivated. It's really good fun. So, we can't ask for any more. So, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
See you on the next one.